Welcome to my channel, where love and betrayal intertwine, stories unfold filled with emotion, hidden truths, and untold journeys. Subscribe now to discover what lies beneath the surface. The night had been long, but one of those rare evenings where everything flowed effortlessly. I had just returned from a charity gala that David, my husband, and I had supported for years. It was a formal affair calling for a fitted evening dress and the most uncomfortable pair of heels in my closet. As beautiful as the gown was, it felt more like a costume by the end of the night. The second I stepped through the front door, all I wanted was to change into something more comfortable. David was away on a work trip, and the only one home was his son Tyler, who had come back from college for the weekend. Over the past year, Tyler and I had been slowly building a rapport. He was kind, always willing to lend a hand around the house, but there was still a respectful distance between us. Not cold or unfriendly, just cautious. And I understood. Being introduced to a new parental figure as an adult can be complicated. After shutting the door behind me, I dropped my clutch on the console table and kicked off my heels, sighing in relief as my feet touched the cool floor. As I passed the living room, I noticed Tyler on the couch, focused on his laptop. The soft glow of the screen illuminated his face. "Hey Tyler," I said, pulling my hair into a loose bun to ease the strain on my scalp. He looked up and gave a polite smile. "Hey, Catherine, how was the event?" "Exhausting," I laughed, "but it went well." "Glad to hear it," he replied before returning to his screen. I made my way upstairs, eager to trade the dress for something more relaxed. In my bedroom, I stood before the mirror and attempted to undo the zipper, which ran straight down the middle of my back, just far enough out of reach to make it frustrating. I twisted and stretched in every direction, but it wouldn't budge. With a sigh, I realized I needed help. The idea of asking Tyler gave me pause, not because I didn't trust him, but because it felt a little awkward. Still, I had no other choice. After a moment of hesitation, I headed back downstairs. "Tyler?" I called softly, not wanting to startle him. He looked up. "Yeah?" I can't reach the zipper on my dress," I said, feeling slightly embarrassed. "Would you mind helping me with it?" He looked a little surprised but quickly set his laptop aside and stood. "Sure." "Thanks," I said, turning around so he could see the back of the dress. I heard him step closer. There was a moment's pause before I felt him gently grasp the zipper. His movements were careful, respectful. "It's a bit stuck," I joked lightly. "I think I've got it," he said quietly. After a few careful tugs, the zipper finally gave way. He stepped back and I turned around with a grateful smile. "Thank you, Tyler. That was a lifesaver." "No problem," he said, his face slightly flushed. It was a brief interaction, simple and uneventful on the surface, but it left a quiet impression. There was a sense of kindness in the way he helped, a respectful consideration that made me appreciate the progress we had made in our relationship. Later that evening, after I had changed into my pajamas and settled on the couch, Tyler joined me. He had warmed up some leftovers and even brought a plate for me. "You didn't have to do that," I said, touched by the gesture. "It's nothing," he replied with a shrug. "You looked tired." We ate together, chatting about his college life, his classes, summer plans, and daily routines. For the first time, the conversation flowed naturally. There was no tension, just a growing ease between us. Over the following weeks, I noticed a shift in our connection. Tyler began to share more about his world, his friends, professors, and the challenges of balancing everything. In return, I opened up as well, about my work, my upbringing, and the dreams I still held on to. Gradually, the walls came down. One afternoon, while we were cooking dinner together, Tyler turned to me and said, I wasn't sure how to feel about everything at first." I looked at him, surprised by his honesty. "I understand," I said. "It's a big adjustment for both of us." He nodded. "Yeah, but I'm glad you're here. You make Dad happy, and I think you're good for both of us." His words warmed my heart. "Thank you, Tyler. That really means a lot." From that point on, our bond continued to grow. We weren't just people sharing a house, we were becoming a real family. And to think, it all began with a stuck zipper and a small moment of kindness.